personal feature in the material world. Wherever there is Chetana or knowledge, the personal feature comes. In the spiritual world, everything is full of knowledge, and therefore everything there is personal. Nothing is impersonal. The land, the water, the tree, the mountains, the rivers, and men and animals, the birds, all are of the same quality, namely Chetana. And therefore, everything in the transcendental world is individual and personal. Srimad Bhagavatam gives us the information as the supreme Vedic literature, and it was personally instructed by the Supreme Personality of Godhead to Brahmaji, so that the leader of the living entities might broadcast the message to all in the universe in order to teach the supreme knowledge of Bhakti Yoga. Brahmaji in his turn taught Narad, his beloved son, the same message of Srimad Bhagavatam, and Narad in his turn taught the same to Vyasadeva, who again taught it to Sukadeva Goswami. So Sukadeva Goswami's grace and by the mercy of Maharaj Parikshit, we are all given Srimad Bhagavatam perpetually to learn the science of the absolute personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna. Is Prabhupada acknowledging his gratitude, and not only himself, he's admitting this benediction on behalf of every reader. We are all given Srimad Bhagavatam perpetually to learn. Next verse. Antarhita indriyarthaya harehe vihitanjali sarvabhuto mayo vishwam sasarjedam sa purvavat. On the disappearance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Hari, who is the object of transcendental enjoyment for the senses of devotees, Brahma, with folded hands, began to recreate the universe, full with living entities as it was previously. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Hari, is the object for fulfilling the senses of all living entities, Rishikesha. Illusioned by the glaring reflection of the external energy, the living entity worships the senses instead of engaging them properly in fulfilling the desires of the Supreme. In the Hari Bhakti Sudode 13.2, there is the following verse, very beautiful verse, very, very nectar. Akshno phalam twadrisha darshanam hi tano phalam twadrisha gatra sanga Jiva twadrisha kirtanam hi sudurlabha bhagavata iha loke sudurlabha bhagavata iha loke. Very beautiful word. It says akshno. Akshno means the eyes. Aksh, eyes. Phalam means the fruit. What is the best result of having the eyes? Is to have darshan of personality like you. Tvadarsha darshanam hi, tvadarsha darshanam. The perfection of eyes is to be able to see the right person. And tano phalam, tano means the body. The perfection of this body is to have your sangha, is to associate with you, is to be able to be in physical proximity. Tvadrisha gatra sangha. And the third is jiva phalam. That is the purification of the tongue. Right. repeating, or glorifying. So the purpose of the tongue is to glorify. Whom, whom one should look forward to have his audience, whom one should try to touch his feet or embrace, whom one should glorify. Sudurlabha Bhagavata Ihaloke. Durlabha means rare. And if one adds Su, then it becomes okay. So Bhagavata Ihaloke. Sudurlabha. Very, very difficult to get the opportunity to associate or serve the pure devotee, Bhagavata. O devotee of the Lord, the purpose of the vision. This is, who said to whom? This verse is there quoted in Chaitanya Charitamrita. I am reminded twice Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says this verse. He says this verse for Srila Sanatana Goswami. When Sanatana Goswami comes running while being chased by the soldiers of Nawab Hussain Shah, he comes and meets Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at Varanasi. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu immediately holds him, embraces him, and both are crying. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu speaks this verse. The Supreme Personality of Godhead Himself, He says, Akshno phalam tva disha darshanami. The purpose of my eyes is to have audience of a devotee like you, Sanatana. And once more, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says to one of his god brother sannyasis, I had glorified many, many years back Srila Prabhupada by this verse. Okay, so we move forward. Hari Bhakti Chandro Sudoday. O devotee of the Lord, the purpose of the visual senses, the eyes, is fulfilled simply by seeing you. And to touch your body is the fulfillment of the bodily touch. The tongue is meant for glorifying your qualities because in this world a pure devotee of the Lord is very difficult to find. Sudurlabha. Originally, the senses of the living entities were awarded for this purpose, namely to engage them in the transcendental loving service of the Lord or that of his devotees. Sorry. Originally, the senses of the living entity were awarded for this purpose, namely to engage them in the transcendental loving service of the Lord or that of his devotees. But the conditioned soul, illusioned by the material energy, become captivated by sense enjoyment. Therefore, the whole process of God consciousness is meant to rectify the conditional activities of the senses and to re-engage them in the direct service of the Lord. Lord Brahma thus engages his senses in the service of the Lord by recreating the conditioned living entities to act in the recreated universe. This material universe is thus created and annihilated by the will of the Lord. It is created to give the conditional souls a chance to act to return home back to Godhead, and servants like Brahmaji, Naradji, Vyasji, and their company. We are also in the same company. Brahma Narad Gaudiya Vaishnava Samprada. Narad Vyas, Brahma Narad Vyas, and their company became busy with the same purpose of the Lord. To reclaim the conditioned souls from the field of sense gratification and return them to the normal stage of engaging the senses in the service of the Lord. But the impersonalist, instead of doing so, that is converting the actions of those. Sorry. But the impersonalist, instead of doing so, that is converting the actions of the senses, try to make the conditioned soul senseless and the Lord also senseless. That is the improper treatment for the conditioned soul. The disease condition of the senses may be treated by curing the defect. not by uprooting the senses altogether. When there is some disease in the eyes may be cured to see properly. Plugging out the eyes is no treatment. Similarly, the whole material disease is based on the process of sense gratification and liberation from the for the distressed condition in re-engagement of the senses to see the beauty of the Lord, hear His glories, and to act on His account. Thus, Brahmaji created the universal activities again. Just couple of verses, I think. Won't be able to complete it today. Not even tomorrow, 45. Okay. प्रजापतेर्धर्मपतेर् एकदा नियमायमान् भद्रं प्रजानाम् अन्वीक्षा अतिष्ठा स्वार्थकामया. Thus, once upon a time, the forefather of living entities, the farmer and the father of religiousness, Lord Brahma, situated himself in acts of regulative principles, desiring self-interest for the welfare of all living entities. One cannot be situated in, in an exalted position without having undertaken regulative life of rules and regulations. An unrestricted life of sense gratification is animal life. And Lord Brahma. And Lord Brahma, in order to teach all concerned within the jurisdiction of his generations, taught the same principle of sense control for executing higher duties. He desired the welfare of all as servants of God. And anyone desiring the welfare of the members of his family and generations must conduct a moral religious life. The highest life of moral principle is to become a devotee of the Lord. Because a pure devotee of the Lord has all good qualities of the Lord. On the other hand, one who is not a devotee of the Lord, however qualified he may be, in the mundane sense of the term, cannot be qualified with any good quality worth of the name. The pure devotees of the Lord, like Brahma, and persons in the chain of disciplic succession, do not do anything to instruct their subordinates without acting accordingly themselves. This is very important. The pure devotees of the Lord, like Brahma and persons in the chain of disciplic succession, do not do anything to instruct their subordinates without acting accordingly themselves. So, this is what is an acharya. Mhm. There are two things. One is an acharya and the other is pracharya. Pracharya means one who only preaches. He only tells others what to do and what not to do. He does not apply. But acharya is one who teaches by his own example. First, he applies in his own life and then he gives it to the others. I'll take one more verse. Tam narada priyatamo rikta adanam anuvrata shushusamana shilena prashrayena damena cha. Narad, the most dear of the inheritor sons of Brahma, always ready to serve his father, strictly follows the instructions of his father by his mannerly behavior, meekness, and sense control. This is Sukadeva Goswami glorifying Narad Muni. No, Brahmaji, sorry. Narad, the most dear of the inherited sons of Brahma, always ready to serve his father, is glorifying Naradji. Follows the instruction of his father by his mannerly behavior, meekness, and sense control. Mayam vividisham Vishnu maya ishasya mahamuni mahabhagavato rajan pitara. Narad was very much pleased. His father, Narad was very much pleased, his father, and desired to know all about the energies of Vishnu. The master of all energies for Narad was the greatest of all sages and the greatest of all devotees, O king. Okay, this we will take tomorrow. I'm really exhausted. Cannot continue. Feeling too much of sleep pressure. Please try to read, try to understand these four essential verses, the gist of Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay, anything from your side? Ravindra Prabhu, you just call me after the class. I'll speak to you briefly. Could speak. Okay, thank you very much. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna.